One of the most surprising things that I've realized is how thinking and language and the story and the individual and the ego really are not a problem at all. And so if we paint them as a problem that has to be gotten rid of, then we actually create them into our experience and create them as a problem. So we're more powerful than we know. So Ramana Maharshi said that silence is the greatest teaching. And it's an amazing, profound quote. And yet, the irony and the cosmic joke and the freedom and the liberation could possibly be in the realization that he used words to express that. And so God, as in the Christian tradition, powerful God comes down to earth as a lowly man and lives his life as an ordinary man. And while this cannot be expressed with language, language expresses it for no one. And when you realize that you are not using language, suddenly this profound magic occurs. And you realize that language is for you, and language no longer stops using you. So we are actually being used by language, by connotations of words that we haven't actually looked up. And so we try to abide by these standards that we've imposed on ourselves. We want to be cool. We want to be right. We want to be seen as people who get it, as people who have some sort of authority. And that authority is never our own. And language is a message unto itself. We've tried so hard all our lives to be stylish, to be in style. When I was in high school, I would not have been caught dead in mom jeans, and now they're in style. And example after example of this just completely blows my mind, how we're creating style. And in the moment, we use it to shame or idolize. And so if you look up the word style, as in stylus, it's writing. And you are writing the story or the creative power behind the story. So we sometimes in spirituality, we take this perspective that we have to be above these things. Now we're woke and we realize we're not the self and we're beyond language and we're not the story. And rather than using those pointers as freedom from a story that we thought we had to live within, that we didn't realize we had any creative power in, we think that then there are some sort of perspectives that we need to avoid in order to conform to what we think the truth is. And conforming, for me, is something we always do for ourselves, not for anybody else. So when you realize that there's nothing to get, there's no approval of anyone to get, that enlightenment is not some sort of certificate that somebody has authority to bestow on you for managing to avoid going into stories, you realize that you've been living in some sort of a cesspool all your life. And that suddenly you realize that the ridiculousness of this, and you realize that everything you own is covered in crap and everything smells bad, and you pull yourself out of this hole and it's amazing, and you don't welcome the fresh air until it hits you. You don't realize that you are suffocating. You don't realize that you are living within this horrible stench until that breath of fresh air hits you. And it's okay that it's a process to move out of this, to completely clean all our stuff off. And it's okay that it's a process to let go of the story and let go of the misunderstandings and the connotations within language. But whatever we focus upon as being the problem will be created as the problem in our experience. And so Voldemort is called Voldemort bravely by Harry Potter, and everybody else calls him he who must not be named. In an ironic way to name him he who must not be named, they give power to the name of Voldemort. And so the ego, language, the story, what is it that you're giving power to? What is it that you're painting as bad? This is a really powerful question to ponder.